Hello everyone, I'm Niman-Noprada. Now you are watching Thai Singapore News. According to a news on April 4, 2015, that have said about what will be next for Singapore after Lee Kuan Yew death. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew was the first Prime Minister of Singapore and he was also the longest serving Prime Minister in world history. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew was born on September 16 in 1923. He was graduated from Cambridge University in England as a lawyer. In 1955, Mr. Lee established People Action Party, or the other name is PAP. And then 3 years later, Lee Party won in this election and then he became the first Prime Minister on January 5 in 1959. And actually at that time he was only 35 years old. In 1963, Mr. Lee wanted to make Singapore become stronger, so he tried to incorporate Singapore and Malaysia together. But 2 years later, this plan was definitely failed because both cultures are too different. However, after this incident had passed, Lee Kuan Yew still looking forward to the way that he could improve his country to be better. On March 23, 2015, Mr. Lee passed away peacefully by the age of 91 at Singapore General Hospital. Many Singaporean people were deeply sad for this shocking situation, even though we knew this was coming, but people still could not believe it. In his funeral had a lot of people who attended and remembering about Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew have provided and developed the education and government system of Singapore, which led Singapore to the most successful country in Asia. And he was the one who did take Singapore from the third world country to the first world country. As we can see from many results, after Singapore have Mr. Lee Kuan Yew as the Prime Minister, the economy were growing very fast and the population of the tourism will keep increasing, which make a good benefit for people and the finance domestic. And the result from BBC News in 2015 have said that Singapore have taken a second place of the safest country in the world under Lee Kuan Yew. And today we are going to interview some people for sharing their opinion. What do they think about Mr. Lee Kuan Yew? If Singapore does not have Mr. Lee Kuan Yew as a Prime Minister, what do you think Singapore would be?
In my opinion, Singapore is lucky to have Mr. Lee as a Prime Minister because of his vision and he is also brilliant. He knew how to change Singapore systematically, such as he realized that Singapore is only a small island and lack of many natural resources, so people would be the most important resource. Then he started to develop education by putting English program in school, also English as a main language. This would be the first important step to change and make Singapore being such an outstanding country in Southeast Asia. So I would say Singapore would not be as today if does not have Mr. Lee, but I just can't imagine what Singapore would be.
Have you ever think that Thailand would be like Singapore in someday?
Yes, maybe if Thai's government can figure it out how to improve Thai's politics.
In your opinion, what is the worst effect after Mr. Lee death?
I think it has no effect but sorrow. It's just like many countries when their leader pass away. Economic may be decreased, but everything will recover very soon.
To compare with Thai governments and Singapore governments, what do you think is the bigger difference between these two governments?
In my opinion, corruption is the biggest difference between Thailand and Singapore. As we knew once, Thailand and Singapore used to be very simple in many ways, such as economics. But Thai government had encountered the corruption problem for many years. It's still the biggest issue of Thailand to develop and compare with Singapore nowadays.
Thank you so much for Mr. Hanawat and Mr. Jasna for coming and sharing your opinion with me. And to continue with our news about what how would Singapore be without Mr. Lee Kuan Yew? Delighted on the results, it is obvious that Singapore did not have any effect from this bad news, and they are actually going to keep forward from now on.